So one of the questions I get asked a lot is what I'm shooting on. The camera that I use is a Canon T3i, and two of the main reasons that I got it were because it had this little articulating screen where I could flip it out so I could see it while I was actually filming if I needed to do that, as well as having a place to plug in an external microphone so I could get some better audio than just what was on the camera. Currently on Amazon, I was looking, the T3i new goes for about $730. I got it used for about $400. I was looking on Amazon for someone who's selling it used but had a really high rating that had lots of people buy from them, which told me they're a little bit more reliable than someone who maybe hasn't sold that much stuff on Amazon. So I haven't had any problems with it so far and saved about $300. As far as lenses, the one that comes with is the 18 to 55 millimeter, which is great. A lot of my first videos that I started using on this camera were using this lens. The reason I got new lenses was because the range of this one really wasn't what I wanted. If I wanted to zoom in more, I couldn't do that with this one. If I wanted to kind of back out more and get more of a bigger picture, I wasn't able to do that with this one. So the second one that I got was the EFS 18 to 135 millimeter. This lens sells for about $250. I also got this one used for about $189. I got this one on eBay and it had a really high rated seller, but this first day that I was using it, when I was zooming in and out, when I was using the focus ring, it would kind of get stuck and I had to shake it. It sounded like something was loose. And apparently there was a loose screw in there. So I went to a local camera shop and they were like, oh, well, it could cost up to $180 just to fix it. I was like, I paid $180 for this. So I actually found a local guy when I just searched camera repair in Austin. His company's called The Camera Shop, and it's just him. And he has been working on cameras for about 30 years and just does it kind of freelance. And he was able to get it fixed for about $50. So that worked out really well. So I would recommend maybe trying to find some experienced freelancers before you go to a camera shop. I contacted the seller on eBay to let him know, like, hey, I was just wondering, was this so cheap because there was a loose screw? And he's like, oh, I didn't know there was a loose screw. He was super apologetic and actually refunded me the cost to make the repairs. The next lens that I got is the one that I'm currently using. It's EOS 10 to 18 millimeter. And what I like about this one is that it does give me this wide angle. This is about as far away as I can get with either of these two lenses. And with this lens, I can pull back that much more so that way I get more inside of the picture and you can get a lot closer to the subject and still be able to get everything in the frame that you want in the frame. This lens currently sells for about $280. I also got it used for $240 and I haven't had any problems with this one at all. The last two things that I have are the GorillaPod. What I love about this is it's super flexible. I can wrap it around a tree. I can wrap it on, put it on top of a chair. I can use it as a regular tripod. I don't even actually have a regular tripod. This is my only tripod currently. This you can get for about $25. They have more industrial strength ones if you have a really heavy camera for like $100, but even with my camera with this heavy lens and the microphone, I haven't had any problems with this one. It's called the Joby GorillaPod Zoom. And the final part of my camera setup is the Rode VideoMic Pro microphone. I'm actually gonna make a separate video on why I chose that microphone and the settings that I use for it, but that's just to get a lot better sound than what you would get if you just used the microphone that was built into the camera. And finally, I use a SanDisk 64 gig SD card. When you're getting an SD card, you'll want to look for a little circle with a 10 on it, as well as a U that has either a 1 or a 3 in it. Those are going to be your best SD cards that can write and read the video data as quickly as possible. I got the 64 gig, 32 gigs probably fine if you're not shooting a ton in one day. The SanDisk one I got for about $45. There are some comparable ones on Amazon, which I'll link in the description, that you can get for about like $28 or so, which work probably just as well. So that's my camera setup and my rig and how I got most of these at somewhat discounted prices. So let me know if you have any questions, suggestions, comments about any of this equipment, and I will see you in the next video.